Hello, welcome to another video. So in this video, we are going to discuss about the pre-execute container activity. So it is an extension activity which you can use to modify the context data of the container request, okay, prior to processing the program. Okay, so basically, so whenever the container is getting executed, right? So before this pre-execute container gets executed, so in this activity, you can update any parameters you need. Okay, so for example, okay, let us see a demo. So in our request we have something called a placements, right? So here we have tile. So I will show you one quick example. So here instead of capital T I'm having small t. Okay, and let us send the request. So it is not showing up with any offers. You can see this is case sensitive. So suppose let us say if I uh, make it to capital T and send the request. So here you can see we got the offers. I mean, we got one offer because we have requested for only one placement. That is why we got one offer over here. So suppose let us say there is a requirement. Let us understand. We have to update this placements to the correct values. Suppose let us say if the value is small t, so we have to make it as capital T. So this is our requirement. Okay. So we will use this activity called pre-execute container activity to update the placements property or attribute. Okay. So to update its values correctly, like for example, updating small t with capital T. Okay. So now let us quickly walk through the container API and find out where this pre-execute container activity is getting called. Perfect. So let me close everything and open it from the starting. So this is a service REST, okay, container service REST. So let us open the post method, open the activity called handle container request before post and open the main activity, okay. And in this open the activity called in step number 9, which is handle container before. Awesome. So now here you can see here we have the step number 10 which is getting executed for a single real-time container. If there are multiple real-time containers, step number 5 gets executed. However, we have an activity called pre-execute container in the step number 8. This is basically for the single container. So this will also get executed for the multiple containers as well. As you can see in the step number 5, open this activity. So here you can find out in the step number 7. So the step number 3.7. So the third one is the loop, wherein we are looping the number of containers present in container list.px results. So for every container, the pre-execute container gets executed. Yeah, so that means this pre-execute container is an extension activity which will support both the single container execution or multiple container execution. So this is empty by default. Now let us quickly save as this into our application toolkit. Okay, so now what is our aim? So our aim is very simple. Update this placements property correctly, correct? So if it has small t in the tile, we have to update it with a capital T. So how to do that? By the way, where this placements property is present. So this will be present under the dot request page, right? Container service page dot request page dot placements, correct? And let us see which context the pre-execute container is getting executed. So let me open this handle container v4. Here the step page is empty. Okay. And this handle container v4 is being called in handle container execution v4 with the step page as empty. That means its primary page would be from the calling activity. So here also the step page is empty. That means it will take the primary page and and this is being called in service rest rule, wherein the service rest rule is getting executed on the page called container service page. So that means our pre-execute containers primary page is also nothing but the container service page. Perfect. So now what we have to set dot request dot placements, correct? So Now let us see if before running this pre-execute container activity, let us see if these placements are modified or if these placements are being saved into any other page or page list. Yeah. So here you can see in the step number 4, right? So here we are having a pre-run condition, which is checking dot request dot placements. If it is null, then we are skipping the step. If this is not null, then we are executing this Java step. Now in this Java step, we are splitting the data present in placements. So in the placements attribute, JSON attribute or property, so we will get a comma separated list of placements or a single value. So now those values will be placed under a property called treatment placement list. Again, this is a page list property. Okay. So under this page list property, under the property called py name, we'll be having the placement name. So that means we have to update the treatment placement list instead of directly updating the placements property. Okay. So for that, what I have to do, so I have already saved this pre-execute container. So here I will enable the loop. Okay. So for each embedded page, okay. In the step page, I will provide dot request dot treatment placement list. Okay. And so here I will do the property set. And under every page list, we will have a property called a py name, which actually stores the placement name. So here let us use an expression to replace the values, okay, from the py name. So if it is having small t, just convert it to capital T. So here I will be using replace all function, okay, and so we are targeting py name, okay, and we want to replace tile with tile. So the first one is small t, second one is capital T. Let us submit. Perfect. Let us save it and check in. Okay. So earlier, right? So before modifying this particular activity, we did not get the results for small tile. Correct. I mean, these are the results for capital tile. So now let us run this request for small tile. Now you can clearly see that for small tile, we are getting the results. Now let me make this pre-execute container activity to not available. Okay. And let us send the request again. So now you can see there are no offers available. Yeah. Now let me quickly make this as available. And I quickly run the container request. You can see that we are able to see the data. Yeah, this is one kind of example which I have framed. But ideally, you can use the pre-execute container to do any modifications. So the definition of this, as you can see, if I open the pre-execute container history, it says that this is an extension activity that can be used to modify the context data of the container prior to processing the program for this container. Maybe the context data means the data present under the context or any other attribute it might be. So, but ideally you can update any attribute so with the help of this pre-execute container. In our case, I have updated the treatment placement list, okay, under which we have modified the py name to actually have the correct placement name. Awesome. So in our next video, we are going to see about the fallback strategy. So until then, keep learning. Bye.